Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. That famous line from the movie Field of Dreams is known round the world as a way to describe our bountiful, beautiful state. Hi, I'm Lori Johns. You know, we can grow just about anything here in Iowa. So it's not a surprise we lead the nation in pork production as well as corn, soybean, and egg production. But it may surprise you that this little bit of heaven is also where a third of our food insecure are children who go to bed without a nutritious meal. Food Bank of Iowa says hunger is even happening here in homes where people do go to work. 1 in 7 working households and 1 in 6 senior citizens are food insecure. Rather than just wringing our hands about hunger, in this 21st episode of ChopTalk, you'll hear how Iowa pig farmers are doing something about hunger in their communities. Ready to hear some good news? Let's dig in. I'm here with Joyce Hoppes with the Iowa Pork Producers, and you have been working with consumers and getting out the good news about pig farming and pork for a long time. You and I have known each other for quite a while, haven't we, Joyce?
We have, Lori.
Yeah.
And it's been great working with you over the years.
Oh, you too. And this is just one of many great programs that you are a part of there at Iowa Pork. It's Pork in the Pantry, and it's a brand new program. It just sounds wonderful. Tell me all about it.
Well, this is a program that our promotion committee, which is pork producers from all over the state, decided to unveil this winter at the Iowa Pork Congress. And it's a program that we wanted to support our county organizations and help them in supporting their local communities. And it's called Pork in the Pantry.
And I'm sure they've told you, and you've gotten the word, that there is an incredible need out there in the countryside. And folks who are just listening to this in the urban areas might not have any idea.
Oh, there's an incredible need throughout the entire state of Iowa. We work with the Food Bank Association, and they have said that it has increased tremendously just over the last couple years, and especially since COVID, actually.
Oh, my gosh. And these are people of all different ages. Some are new to the state, some aren't.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of families who are working, but their paycheck just isn't enough to cover all of their cost. And food is one of those costs that sometimes they will cut back or try to skimp as much as they can. But one of the things that the food bank tells us is they always have a shortage of high-quality protein. And they may have other products, but that protein, and especially high-quality protein pork, is scarce.
I can see why pork is a good fit for a lot of folks because it is so easy to prepare and it can go a long way for just a few dollars, even folks if they're out there buying it at the grocery store. But tell them about the importance of connecting the communities here with the pantries.
Absolutely. So our pork producers, they live in rural Iowa, and one of their We Care principles is caring for their neighbors and caring for their communities. And with this program, it was a natural fit. It's a win-win for everyone. The pork producers were able to donate. And again, we have an abundance of pork. We produce pork. We're the number 1 pork producing state in the nation. And it's just a great opportunity to share and help with the food insecure in the state of Iowa.
I know it breaks their hearts, and I've talked with so many farmers who here you think of Iowa as a place of abundance. There is real need out there.
There definitely is. And it's right next door to us. We may not be aware of some of the need out there, but it's all around us.
Well, tell us how Pork in the Pantry works then. You're just starting. You guys are just out of the gate, so to speak. The pig has just left the gate. But you've already had some great success.
Oh, we have. So we kicked it off at the Iowa Pork Congress in late January. We decided that with this being the first year, we'd make it just a short window. So we gave our county organizations from Pork Congress, late January, until Easter, which was the Saturday before Easter, so April 8th, to donate pork, to source pork locally in their counties, in their communities, and then to donate it to food pantries in their counties. The Iowa pork producers said that we would support this effort and provide up to $1,000 per county for the purchase of pork products. And it has been just phenomenal. The response has been wonderful. our county organizations. We had over 40 county organizations participate and donate approximately $40,000 worth of pork to food pantries all over the state.
That's great. Like we said, farmers care about not just what's going on their side of the farm fence, but on the other. So that's one way they put their money where their mouth is donating that pork because they grow it. And I know they do care about that. Why do you think pork is such a great option for folks when it comes to stretching the budget?
Well, pork is just really economical. It's one of the most economical proteins out there right now. And there's so many different options. And, I always tell people that even within all of the choices for pork, there are a lot of even more economical options. And that's one of the things that I saw when I was looking at the information that came back from the counties, that a lot of them donated a lot of different products, but one product that really showed up a lot was ground pork. And ground pork is just an amazing economical item, but it's very versatile and can be used so many different ways.
Yeah, you can stretch it, whether it's a casserole, whether it's for breakfast in the morning or when the kids get home from school. I'm getting kind of hungry now thinking about it, but there's a lot more than bacon going on out there.
You better believe it. But we did notice that there were some counties that had bacon in their items that they were donating. So we knew that some people that maybe weren't able to have bacon on a regular basis in their homes were going to get to enjoy some bacon too.
Well, I love that. Any ideas what the program has in store for next year?
It will definitely be coming back. We'll have our pork producers, our promotion committee review and look at it and decide when we're going to kick it off. But it will definitely be coming back. But we're going to be asking input from our county organizations if they have any recommendations or any changes that they would like for us to make.
How do you measure success when it comes to this particular program?
I think success for us, especially this one, was just our county involvement. Just having 40 counties, and again, not all of our counties are organized in the state of Iowa, but we did have some producers in counties that do not have a formal county organization reach out to us and ask if they could do the donation in their county.
I love that.
Isn't that great? We had actually food pantries that heard about the program reach out to us, and so we connected them with the producers in their county, but also just the excitement that we received from this program.
I love that. I love that. And, it's also true that I think so many pork farmers, pig farmers, they don't like to brag about what they do. They're just quiet and on the down low. So that's why I'm glad that you're here to tell me about it, because it might not be top of mind for a lot of folks. They might not know that, but it happens.
It does. I think it's just natural. So many of our producers, again, they're in rural communities, and they're actively involved in supporting those rural communities, and they do help with grilling events, just anything and everything in their rural communities to help support them.
The need in some communities isn't the same across Iowa. It depends on the population there, the job market, and even whether school is in session or not. To find out more about that, let's go up to Fort Dodge in Webster County, where the poverty rate is 3% higher than the state average. Melanie Fierke is the executive director at the Lord's Cupboard Food Pantry in Fort Dodge, and Gregg Hora is one of the pig farmers in the community who helped her out with Pork in the Pantry. All right, Melanie, why don't we start off talking about the need? Who is coming through the door, and how has that changed since you've been here?
Okay, so in the state of Iowa, the poverty rate is 11%, but here in Webster County, it's actually 14.5%. So I do feel like Webster County has a greater need than a lot of places in Iowa. And we have great support here in Webster County. Our organizations, working with people like Gregg, other local farmers, local businesses, and just the average person, helping out, because we couldn't do it without them. So we used to buy 75% of our food from the Food Bank of Iowa, and a lot of the food we get from them is at a huge discount. So now we're only getting maybe 30% of our food from the Food Bank of Iowa. So we're relying on local organizations like our local grocery stores to fill in the rest, or donations.
That's why, thank goodness, he called when he did.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was right around Easter. So when Gregg told me he was doing this, I'm like, hey, Gregg, can we make them smaller for my smaller families? So that's what we gave out our smaller families for Easter, and they were thrilled. So that was kind of their Easter. Instead of a ham, they can't cook a 17-pound ham, so they got a 2-pound pork loin. So they loved it. So everybody thought, the need was great during COVID, but I think there was a lot of government aid during COVID. People got a bump up in their SNAP benefits. People were getting government assistance. So the need wasn't as great then. We were seeing probably averaging about 500 a month, 500 households. And that was what we'd been seeing for probably 10 years previous, was roughly 500 a month households. But then when the government took away their COVID benefits, in April of 22, we started seeing an increase. So we went from 500 to 800 to 1,000 to 1,300 a month. So we got to a point where we were almost triple what we were seeing. And now we're probably still about 1,000 households a month we serve.
And who are these people who are coming in and needing some help, needing some assistance?
Well, it ranges. We do see a lot of people on fixed incomes, and we see a lot of families. I don't see as many families this time of year. I feel like they're saving their visits for the summer when the kids are home and they're eating all 3 meals at home. Because right now, when they're gone to school, they're only home for supper. And a lot of times they can probably stretch it and make it work because they get 12 visits a year here to the pantry. And a family, say like a family of 6, they get probably about 70 to 80 pounds of food. And then they'll get like upwards of 10 pounds of protein.
So if they have a couple of teenagers at home and they're out of school for the summer, that's a lot of food and that's a lot of hunger.
It is. And they can come see us up to 12 times a year or, once a week. And then we do get rescue food from local organizations. Dollar General, Fairway, and Target give us rescue foods that's at or past date. And that's part of the Feeding America program. And we put that out, and if people want, they can come get that. We have a lot of local farmers who bring in their garden produce to us, and they can come and get that, and that doesn't count as a visit. So that's always available for them when they're in need.
Must be nice to see their eyes light up, because before they came in, who knows what they were facing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. And we can also agree that there's a need out there, and it's probably not going away anytime soon.
No, not with the economy the way it is, Not only did people take a hit when they lost their COVID bonus money, but then gas went up and rent went up, and with gas going up, food went up, and it kind of created this ripple effect of all expenses went up. All of a sudden, everything was more. So then that tightens their purse strings, and they can't maybe afford to buy groceries like they did a year ago. So then they're needing emergency food assistance, and that's where the pantries come in and help out.
And regardless of what got them here, the idea is you can help.
Absolutely, yes. We've had people come in, and when they start filling out paperwork, they'll start crying, and they'll be really upset that they need the help. And, we're like, it's okay. I'm sure in some point in your life you've helped someone, and now you need help, and, it's okay to take help.
Just playing it forward,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I've had mothers come back, and I've had even fathers come back and say, you've done that. You helped me when I was in need, and now I want to bring you these food, or I want to write you a check, or they want to give back too.
That's great. It does make you believe in miracles.
Absolutely,
I love that.
yeah.
Well, thank you for what you do in the community and what you do for everybody who comes through the door, whether you meet them or not. I think you guys are doing such great work, and it's an inspiration for everybody who's listening to this podcast. Famous Nobel laureate poet and author Maya Angelou said, "When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed." Now that we've met the grateful, it's time to hear from Farmer Gregg, one of the many cheerful farmers from Fort Dodge who make pork in the pantry a reality.
Farmer in the Fort Dodge area and involved with the Webster County pork producers.
And how many generations you've been farming? How long you've been farming?
Well, I've been farming since I graduated Iowa State in 1982. I've had some off-the-farm jobs in some of those years where I worked full-time but still farmed. But actually, mother's side of the family is 7th generation, and my father's side of the family is 6th generation.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of years, and you've seen a lot of change, so no doubt. Well, Gregg, why don't you tell me the why? So you've been farming a long time. You've been in this community. You know a lot of folks. What made you go, gosh, I should give Melanie and the Lord's Cupboard a call?
Well, we know as farmers here, in not only the Fort Dodge area, but across the state, that we are trying to do a business of raising pigs, growing meat, growing protein, and providing that for our families. However, we also know that providing food to those who need it in our communities is important. And so the Lord's Cupboard here in Fort Dodge with Melanie and her staff here, we know, take care of a lot of families each month, and that they have their needs for protein And we as farmers believe in giving back to our local communities and our food banks. So it seems natural that when we have a promotion leading up to Easter time here in the springtime, pork and to the pantry, as we called it, that pork loins seemed like a natural fit for families and giving back into our local food banks here.
It's not like she called you up and goes, you're like, we should do this. You just sought her out.
Well, we understand that the relationships that we have in our local communities, and there's nearly 50 organized county pork producer groups across the state. So each one of those county pork producer organizations have relationships in their communities, have relationships with service providers like the food bank, the Lord's Cupboard here in Fort Dodge, or other agencies in the counties, which we also participated with other agencies in Webster County for the Pork in the Pantry program also. But we understand that getting the message out about safe, affordable, and nutritious pork is important. And sometimes that means giving the pork away, especially where there's a need. And we understand that as farmers, we're pretty blessed to operate our own businesses and be involved in communities with these type of providers, because the needs that Melanie has established with the numbers, people in our communities that are food insecure, it's important that we have a relationship and that those people understand that we're providing pork to them as a center of the plate option for good, nutritious food. But also we realize that the benefits of providing pork come with better health and better educational opportunities, especially with young families. If you can have better food nutrition in their bodies, they'll quite honestly do better in school also.
That's right. And, I'm sure, whether or not you know a family that has had to come to the food bank because they've been in a situation or not. I mean, you think of the burgers you serve, different public events, county fairs and that sort of thing. Is that where you see the need? What made you think about we should do this?
Well, obviously, we do have the opportunity, as most county pork producer organizations, of grilling in the communities, grilling pork burgers, which a lot of times people come up to us and they say they've never had a pork burger before. And so it's reassuring to know that we're providing them with something that they have not experienced before. And once they do, they always say, where can we get this? And we are very blessed to have excellent retail partners in our communities, the grocery stores that provide these pork products. But also important to know that county farm organizations like the pork producers and other commodity organizations provide food programs throughout the year.
I love that. So it's like see a need, fill a need.
Well, it's in the relationships that we foster are also important, because we always have new people, as Melanie and the food bank, not only here in Fort Dodge with the Lord's Cupboard, but others across the state know that sometimes it's some of the same people always coming through. And then a lot of times, because of circumstances, you have a lot of new people coming in. And we do need to help fill those needs for Iowans that are having difficulties with food security problems. And we as pork producers are just happy to be a little part of that and step up and help out.
Stepping up, helping everyone in the community, whether they farm or not, is just one way Iowa farmers show they care. And that's how to create a legacy that lasts. On the next Chop Talk, meet some farmers who are leading conservation efforts to improve water quality for all of Iowa. What motivates them? What can we learn from them? That's on the next Chop Talk. I'm Lori Johns. Thanks for listening.